Afternoon, everyone. Dress down. It's like 95 degrees today, so being outside is terrible. So those funny looking dog tracks, the best story that I can connect to that type of track, the staggered, stumbled track, is the story that my grandmother told me of the Wachuge people. The Wachuge people are supposed to be a cross between a Skookum man and a dog person woman, and what's thrown is a Wachuge. The Wachuge is a giant, bigger than either of the two people that it came from. They have a very human-looking face. They lose the high bump of, the round little donut bump of the Skookum. They don't have a tail, but they have dog feet. Now, both my native grandmother's stories and Uncle Ong's stories about the Wachuge is that they're giants. They range 12 to 15 feet in height. And in the fall, they do a commemorative dance. That's why they're called the Stumblefoot people. And it's called an ink print dance. I don't know why it's done in black. But my guess is this. Uncle Ong's story said that these people were around before our planet was hit by another planetoid. Probably the Marduk story, where another planet hits us and creatures fall from the planet and come here. But the Wachuge is not from the other planet. But their Stumblefoot dance commemorates when our planet had no wobble, and then it had a wobble after we were crashed into, and the supposed giants with no heads showed up. They were just really long-legged. We hadn't seen out-of-proportion giants before. Some of the other things that fell here were the mer people and the red-haired shark-tooth giants, which I've seen the skull of. My mother, when I think it was 1976, she took me to a native person's home here in, I think he was in Northern California in the Redwoods, if I remember right. And he showed me a skull. It was 22 pounds. It was frigging huge. And it had double rows of teeth. And they looked like sharp little shark's teeth on the top and the bottom. And he said that one of his ancestors had kept the skull, and it was one of the skulls from the Lovelock Cave people. And he said they were part of the tall-legged giants, the ones that you couldn't see the heads of, simply because they were too tall and we weren't used to looking at them. And the description that he gave me, what his ancestors said, is they looked very humanoid, except for the unusually long legs. They had the double rows of teeth, the shark teeth. And that they had been originally in our oceans when they fell, and then they came to land, and they started cave dwelling, and they would eat us. So their preferred meal was a human being. So there are those sorts of myths to consider. And then there's also the mer people. They're very carnivorous. Most, it seems, like everything that fell off the Marduk planet was very carnivorous to us. We became their food source as soon as they hit ground. There were only a few species that came from that planet, supposedly, that weren't. I mean, there were also, like, snake people that supposedly came that were like the reptile man, supposedly also fell from that planet. Some of them could adapt and stayed, and some died out, according to Uncle Ong. So those kinds of myths I don't know quite how to sort out, because it's such a mishmash of stuff. But it's interesting, and it's something to consider, something to think about. But I think those are, probably Stumblefoot Wachuge's tracks. And I will do a drawing and tell more about the Wachuge, and I will do drawings of the shark people. What I know about the mer people, I've never seen a mer person. I've never seen a Wachuge. I've only had them described. A lot of these next few drawings are going to be from, past descriptions. So, not an eyewitness, at least to those guys.